Hello and welcome back. So when we were building our simple calculator, you saw logic like this, right? Where we had the first number multiplied by the second number, and we had this piece of logic which basically multiplies one number with another. And we simply did this within the put statement itself. Now, whenever you have logic like this, right, where you're performing some kind of logical operation which may be necessary or used by other parts of your application or in the future just by yourself, that you have to think about whether you can convert that to a method, a function basically. Because think about it, without writing an entire expression like this every single time you need this, wouldn't it be great if you just said multiply 1 and 2 or something like that, right? Now, while multiplication is a very simple case, it is a good introduction into the case for using methods. So since this is kind of cramped over here, I'm going to do the same thing in Atom. So how do you define a method? You already saw that we can define a method by saying define and method name. So we're going to say def space method name, I'll say multiply. And this method will take in two numbers. So I'll say first num and then second num. Okay. For the method definition, I have to have an end to signify the end of the method. And here I will simply take the first num and multiply it with the second num. So first num times second num. And in Ruby, the last evaluated statement within a method, or the last evaluated expression within a method, the return is automatically implied. So just by saying this method, when called, will return first num times second num. I can also say return. I can use that keyword, but I don't need to if this is my only expression here. Okay, or this is my last expression. Okay, another thing is I want to convert .2f over here. .2f. Okay, so my anticipation is whether the string version of a number or an integer or the actual float itself is sent in, doesn't matter. It will work and return the result that I want. Now over here then, where I'm doing this multiplication, instead of performing this here, I can simply call the method multiply, and then I have them as first number over here, which is the input I'm getting, and second number. All right. And this will unfortunately not work, and we'll see very soon, but I'm going to save this and then run it. So Ruby playground.rb, enter your first number, 10, 20. Okay, see, undefined method multiply. Why is that? We did define a method for multiply. It's because when the program started executing, it came down to here, this part, and it saw that I'm referencing this method multiply. And in the execution flow, it couldn't find this method because see, this definition is at the bottom. It's in line 14. When I was in line 8, this method hadn't been defined as yet. So in order for this to work, I have to copy this, put it on top here before the execution flow, or at least before this line is executed. So I'll put it at the top, save this. Now let's run it. Enter your first number, 10, second number, 20. There you go. The first number multiplied by the second number is 200. Perfect. So that's working. So similarly, you can see that you can extract the divide, subtract, add, and mod methods. So I'm going to pause this video and take care of this, but I'm going to ask that you pause this video as well and extract this logic to 4 different methods for divide, subtract, add, and mod. And then we can compare notes when I return. All right, welcome back. I hope you managed that. So over here, I extracted away the logic to have a multiply, divide, subtract, add, and mod methods. They take in 2 numbers, and instead of performing the arithmetic operation over here, I'm simply calling the method based on what I want to do. All right, so let's run this. We're here. I'm going to say Ruby playground.rb. Okay. Enter your first number, let's say 25, second number, 15. All right, there you go. It's working. First number multiplied by second number, 375, divided, 1.6. Subtracted from second number, minus 10. First number added to second number, 40. And for those of you who didn't actually do the homework assignment and figure out what mod is, it simply gives you the remainder. So 15 goes into 25 once, and then you have 10 left over, so that's the remainder. Okay, so that's great, and it's a brief introduction or look at methods and how they're used. And we'll look at methods more and more as we progress through the course. But one thing I will mention is notice how for my calculator, when I'm entering these two, it's performing all of the operations for me, right? And this may not be what I want. I may want to choose whether I want to multiply, to divide, to subtract, or add. What if that's the case? Then I would need some way of prompting the user to specify whether they want to multiply, whether to divide, or whatever the option is, right? And that is where branching comes in, which is where you deal with if-else type scenarios. So if the user says they want to multiply, then perform the multiplication, and so on and so forth. And that's what we're going to look at next, the if-else branching. So I'll see you in the next video.